Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Hello, Martyn Pick and Airell Anthony Hayles. Tell my audience the premise of your movie, Heckle.
A cool metropolitan hipster comedian is stalked by a psychopathic heckler. In need of some rest and recreation, he and his entourage go to the countryside for an ironic 80s horror party, but there things take a very dark turn, and everything that seems very kind of nudge and a bit of a joke with the 80s retro horror turns very dark and primal indeed.
That definitely encapsulates the story. So how did you two link up, and tell us a bit about the working relationship?
It was Blue Moon, wasn't it? It was Blue Moon.
Blue Moon, yes. I directed a short based on, it was Anthony's script, which he produced as well with some friends, and it was about a werewolf.
It was about a werewolf attack at an Essex jogging site. Now, I don't know, Michael, if you know what jogging is. Do you know what that is? That's kind of a British term.
No, tell me.
Okay, it's like swinging in the woods.
Cool. Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like people couple up and they go to the woods and swap cars. And so we did a comedy kind of take on that with werewolves. And that was what that was.
Wow.
Yeah, and it played
it turned out well.
Yeah.
It turned out well. I think, the thing is that, people, this kind of swinging in the woods, as it were, it takes on the classic horror trope of people in horror. They're always like babysitters or having sex, like in Halloween, who shouldn't be there, or people who go to the abandoned house. And we were taking it a step further. Basically, they're beyond kind of social constraints and jurisdiction. They're away from CCTV. They're out. They're exposed, and the werewolves attack them. It had a moral twist, and it was like well produced. Yeah, and it got into Screamfest LA, which is a top horror festival in the US, and so it was premiered at Grauman's Chinese Theatre, which for us English boys was a big thing. So we flew out there and enjoyed the whole experience. And then because we got on well and had a shared enthusiasm for horror, we were talking about what to do next and what would be a good thing to build on this working relationship that would be pretty, reasonably swift to produce. So we went into Heckle because it wasn't going to be bogged down with hugely complicated special effects. There's no big monster in it or anything like that. And it was all going to be about like a small ensemble cast of like good actors playing off each other and doing bad things to each other.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So are stand-up comics usually disturbed people in your experience?
Yes. Yeah. The idea of a stand-up comedian being, stalked by a seemingly insane heckler is really going to comedy and seeing those moments where, your American comedians are amazing at this. I'm trying to think of famous Canadian comedian. Who's the most famous Canadian comedian?
Well, we have Russell Peters. We have Norm Macdonald. We got Tom Green from my city, Ottawa.
Tom Green is hardcore.
Yeah.
So when they take on hecklers, there's always that gray area where maybe they're going to push it too far with the wrong member of the audience who's a psychopath. But the comedian, something about the nature of stand-up, and Martin referencing King of Comedy, I think it's rich ground for, very... it's kind of where you can go a bit crazy in a dark room and you wonder quite who's there performing and who the audience are. Definitely.
There's something about stand-up as well, which is inherently, it's not entirely normal or mainstream, is the desire to be able to control an audience, isn't it? And manipulate it and be a conduit for that. And I think with our character, it's about he wants to be in control and controlling his world, but he's got all these multiple strands going on. And his very complicated love life, and the wheels start to come off. And I was kind of thinking, it's all about kind of public facade. It's a bit like people on social media, pushing out this very public facade, and you're trying to control everything the whole time and how you present yourself to the world. But the more you push yourself out there, the more people can attack you too.
So tell me about the shoot. Was it an enjoyable one? How long was it?
It was a long one. It was a long and enjoyable one.
Okay.
Because
it was done, Michael, in stages. We did this weird thing where we were raising money for different segments of the film, and partially the success of one segment and how it looked and who was in it would lead us to making the second and third. And I think actually, Martyn, we did it in 4 pieces. I think that's right.
Yes, 4 pieces. Yeah. We started, we started with a model of making a movie that would be ultra kind of micro moody, simple ensemble characters, almost like a camera just following them around the room. Because I come from this sort of art animation background, done lots of commercials and stuff, I got in like a good a good DOP. And we started to light it well, so the production value went up, and that slowed things down. And also, I reacted. We had available locations which are out in the countryside in East Anglia, so a very beautiful part of the UK, Norfolk. And we had these various locations, and they were these old Victorian buildings. But I didn't want it to look too musty in English, because this character is a hip, urban London comedian. He's a metropolitan guy, and these people are cool people. We wanted this house party to have this kind of installation art kind of feel, a bit like Dario Argento giallo feel, or neon modern contemporary fine art. So that kind of upped the production value of it, which slowed things down a bit, but it was worthwhile because it gave it a quality.
It was definitely worthwhile, and it led to Steve Guttenberg coming on board a much higher value production, which was obviously a dream because, Martyn and I know his movie work from the 80s and actually other films like The Bedroom Window. And it was good to see him go from the nice guy that we kind of knew to a much darker character, which is something audiences haven't seen so much.
He was terrifying. I mean, he, as his character on screen, lovely guy to work with. I'm sorry, his agent. He's lovely. He was lovely and really good to work with. But I mean, on the first day, we were shooting a scene in the park, and it wasn't one of his most extreme sequences. But he turned to me and said, this is what I've got planned for tomorrow, and how he was going to act in this very intense manner. And he did this thing, and it was just like, oh my god, yes, it's like Joe Pesci. This is terrifying. And there's a sequence. I won't spoil. There's a sequence where he's with a younger cast member, and he was saying, "Is this going to be all right with the young boy?" And I said, he'll be okay. He's professional. But here's the difference between kind of US and UK culture. The UK boy, when Steve went into this intense Joe Pesci kind of rant, the UK boy just kind of, we had to stop him laughing because he was just smirking at all this abuse. But we had to cut around it. Yeah.
And you also have, what's his name? Nicholas something from Hellraiser.
Yes, we got Nicholas Vince from Hellraiser, a great guy that we've worked with a lot. And he's in a scene in a sauna.
Right.
And it's a nice little cameo. And, we always love working with Nicholas. So a delight to have him. We got a eclectic mix. We've got Toya Wilcox, the pop star actress as well. Danny Dyer, who won Love Island in the UK, that I think has gone over to the US as well. And we've also got Clark Gable, who was the grandson of Gone with the Wind's Clark Gable.
Wow.
Who very sadly passed away in post-production. But there's a mixture of cast members here that's quite unique, I think.
I think an actor from Hellraiser is integral for any British movie. Horror movie.
It's great. I think a big thing about, as Anthony was talking about there with the cast, is that to give the thing, it's an enjoyable ride. I always enjoy movies where you can rewatch them and you go, I can't wait for that bit where that character comes in and does their scene, that cameo scene. You can go back to 1931 Dracula and that guy who did Renfield, laughing on the every time you watch the movie, you can't wait for that bit to happen. It's coming up. And we've got these great little bits. There's a guy, Brad Moore, in it as well, who does this fantastic piece in the bar.
Right, yeah.
These different colors and sort of tones and styles of acting along the timeline.
Okay. Who was the MVP of the crew?
We had two DOPs. They're both great. Mark Bars and Vince Knight. And Jason Kelvin was a great set designer, art director on this. He sort of really interpreted the neon look really well.
It really is a case of all the elements. You know, it's a bit of a cliche, isn't it, to say it's all teamwork, but everybody in their role, from production design to the DOPs, made it happen. So it really is.
Yeah, we had some great. I had some great first ADs on this as well, because it's done in different years, like Simon Haviland and Dominic Burns and Vince. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you want to bow out of this question, that's fine.
I think. I mean, well,
you're very polite. You're very
polite. I'm a director. I want to say myself.
Okay.
You don't want to say that one other person was carrying it.
All right. So there was another technical question I have. I love the knock knock when the heckler says knock knock.
Yeah,
it's really creepy. It happens throughout the film.
Yeah,
and that was the sound that gave me the chills the most. How was that sound achieved?
Well, that's Clark. I mean, that's Clark Gable's grandson.
Wow,
doing that voice, and he instead of he found we rehearsed it, I think over Skype or it was down the wire because he was over in LA, and we rehearsed it, and he found this very different kind of laid back menace to the voice, which was interesting, rather than the sort of cliche voice. It's more insidious and more kind of
more effective.
Yeah, more effective. And our lead guy is kind of like jittery and nervous, hang on his every word, and then this guy's kind of teasing out of him. It had a nice dynamic.
It really worked for me.
Yeah.
So tell me about the casting process. How long was it? And maybe a better question is also, what did you want to keep in the back of the mind of the actor with this material?
Well, we had one, a good casting story is we hired a theatre in South London. We had one incredible day for casting where we had about 60 people auditioning. I mean, it was amazing, wasn't it? We had so many characters coming on. We even before that, we had a very early read through, and at that point we had Danny Dyer, and she retained her voice, really cut through in that casting because she has such great natural comic timing and personality. She stayed there. She was locked into that character from the beginning. And we had Louis Selwyn, who was great. We found the right role for him, and then we found Guy, who played the lead, Joe, and he has this great kind of louche kind of Charles Manson, George Harrison hipster look and vibe. God. And he played, he was there on this casting with about 60 people, and he managed to play off all the people who were auditioning throughout the day and do it in different roles. So we thought, God, this guy's really good because he can sustain. Yeah, I mean, and then it built, and then we got other people came in as the shoots went on, and it snowballed. We got Toya in, got Clark, then Toya, then Steve at the end. But yeah, but Anthony, you were very involved in the casting, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted quite an ensemble of people that go out to the country house, and I think that we were. I mean, I'm really think that Madison is amazing. Madison's the girl that plays the leading lady, that's Guy's girlfriend, and I just thought that Madison Clare was very natural, and I just believed everything she said. I thought she was fantastic.
Yes, she was on that day, and there was she was playing a character, and it was the way, without spoiling it, the way that she sort of caressed Guy. There was a definite control of range there. Very good.
It's great. Stephanie Lee Rose as the agent was fantastic as Catherine. I just felt like they worked off, because there's very different range of acting styles in the film, and they seem to work very well together.
Yeah, it was important we got a different, because we were working on this principle that we weren't going to have like a big CGI monster or anything like that, you know, and we didn't want it to be the classic, you know, the classics of old school horror thing. We basically get quite a vanilla bunch of kids who they might be good looking, but they're not particularly interesting. We wanted very strong types to play off each other with, as Anthony says, with different acting styles, and a lot of it came out of that day, you know, with Guy playing off Stephanie and Madison, and then Louis' style, and yeah.
Okay. Have you in your life seen contempt in the entertainment world between actors and comics? Is there a rift
between actors and comedians? Is there a tension?
Yeah.
In terms of what, or like a sort of professional, in terms of what actors not taking comedians seriously, or vice versa, or
yeah. I mean, I was watching an interview with Michael Imperioli and Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan says, like, I don't, like, actors don't open up to me, or I gravitate towards comedians. And then Michael was like, oh, it's the same way for me, but vice versa. And I'm not even saying that to, like, one up you, or I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I didn't know there was some sort of, you know, those are just two people, but I was just wondering if you've ever seen some sort of dynamic like that in your life.
I don't know. I just find that actors look up to comedians because it is a very tough thing to do, isn't it? It's the toughest thing to do, and often comedians make very fine actors as well. You know, they give great performances. I mean, like we were talking about King of Comedy, Jerry Lewis's understated performance in that is extraordinary compared to when he was, you know. Back, you know, things like Nutty Professor, which is brilliant, you know, absolutely brilliant in its own way, but it's a very kind of cartoon push style, but his very kind of underplayed natural, fit in that.
Yeah, definitely. And Richard Pryor, he's kind of fun.
Well, he's amazing, isn't
Rodney
he?
Dangerfield.
Yeah, there is a lot of tension.
And also Don Rickles is really understated in Casino.
Yeah, and quite menacing as well. At the front of house, yeah, you really don't want to get on the wrong side of him.
I heard also that, you know, stand-up sort of grew out of the mafia. It was like vaudeville, but it also grew out of, like, you know, mafia-owned clubs.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we have because we have our own English. Yeah, in England, everything comes out of a musical tradition that goes back to the 19th century. You know, where people would have like, you know, same as a vaudeville, where you'd have like music and compares, and then comedians on stage, and that's pre-cinema or anything, and that's a sort of working class entertainment, and a sort of lot of, and then that would bleed into TV. Yeah.
Okay, who is your favorite comedian of all time?
Ooh. I love the American lineage of kind of Jewish comedy going back. I like the line going back from the follow the line through Groucho Marx, Woody Allen through Larry David. I'm very happy with all of that.
Yeah.
Larry's great.
Yeah, Larry David. I mean, he's also obviously does a lot of acting he did the Woody Allen film, and he did we all love Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's something so funny. Brilliantly funny about it.
Yeah, and Christopher Guest, you know, we're Spinal Tap. I mean,
London,
as South guys from the southeast of England, how they nailed that estuary accent is just genius.
Okay, do you guys like George Carlin?
Yes, I was watching called Misery Loves Comedy last night about manic depression and comedy.
Yeah,
George Carlin's very good.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. What about Ricky Gervais? Speaking about,
of course,
love Ricky Gervais. The thing is that we're living in a very, very politically correct time, and I think the stand-up comedians, like Joe Rogan as well, are the only guys out there and girls out there who are bravely saying whatever they want. Yeah, and it's a tough time, and you know, it's where comedians really stand out. If it's televised, it might be edited, but if you're in a dark room, it's going to be even wilder. So yeah, there is that aspect to it.
I want to give a shout out to Tim Dillon. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a younger comedian, and he has a sketch on YouTube where he dresses up as Jeffrey Epstein's temple looking for work in Los Angeles, in the streets of Los Angeles.
Okay. Sounds like the kind of tasteful work that we'd be very interested in.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. He also plays Megan McCain very well.
Ah,
Okay. Wow.
Yep. All right, Martyn and Airell, thanks for your time. Any final
Thank you,
words
Michael.
about Heckle you'd like to share with my audience before I let you go?
You got to come and see it. It's on the 24th of October at midday at Fright Fest's digital Halloween event, www.frightfest.co.uk.
Thank you very much, guys.
cheers. Thank you.